And I was asking that question to start the show, Ryan, that if you're a Mariner fan, you call yourself a Mariner fan, how are you not coming out of that homestand, 9 wins out of 10 games? I mean, they are just rolling right now.
Yeah.
How do even the most pessimistic Mariner fan, how do you not come out of this excited, anticipating the next game, optimistic? I mean, I so excited with what we saw over this stretch in the weekend, and we'll get into the whole Ichiro celebration and everything. But, I mean, I don't know what you would point to and say, well, yeah, but this didn't happen, or that guy didn't do this, or this didn't happen. This team is arguably the best team in the American League right now. Is that hyperbole?
Sure. Yeah. No, you're right. And even if you want to nitpick at something like the game yesterday, like Bryan Woo, who was getting hit hard, you felt like maybe he was getting figured out a little bit in those early innings. His body language is a little bit, he was getting smaller on the mound. Usually he's got all that big presence. All of a sudden, I'll get to the offense in a second, but just from a pitching standpoint, watching him thinking, is this going to be that day where he doesn't go 6? He just has that stubbornness about him that presence to say, all right, you can get me here early and some hard contact, but I'm gonna figure you out. He was ending every inning with a punch out, getting through 6 like it was nothing. Even that too, like even the fact that you have a situation when you get some early offense and you feel like the offense is going to all of a sudden just go flat. Like we've seen early in this year, there's been agonizing times where it's like you feel like you got something going, or you got a couple runs early and then just nothing. Somehow the starting pitcher just falls into a groove, and then Josh Naylor comes up, who was supposed to be out with a shoulder injury a couple of days ago, and he's just fine, and he just goes whack, just crushes a home run. And you're just like, man, the offense is just nowhere to hide against this offense, man. You look 1 through 9. I can't remember another Mariners, offense, and going back to when I played or even prior to that 1 through 9 is again, looking through a pitcher's lens coming into town to face 1 through 9 with this team. It would not be fun. It is not fun, period. And you can tell even Adrian Howes, you get to game 3, he's been sitting on the top step of that dugout for 2 games, watching his buddies pitch against the Mariners. And all of a sudden, what does he do? He tries to nibble just a little bit. He slips into bad counts, and then he somehow got through 5. I don't know how he did against that lineup.
Yeah, would he throw 45 pitches in that first inning?
Yeah, it was just, man, you better make pitches, put it that way. You better be on your A game against this offense, because I haven't seen it. And I just think there's just a different tone and a different energy since August 1st, man. There just is. This flat out is. It's a fun time to be a Mariners fan.
Who's been the most impressive when you look at the 6 through 9? We just talked about Cole Young, probably. I mean, looking at him in the 9 spot, I mean, his slash line over the last 9 games is 350, 536, 600, 1136 OPS. I mean, he has just been incredibly impressive.
Yeah. I'll give Cole, some love there. I'll give Canzone some love. But, dude, look, J.P. Crawford, he loses the leadoff spot. He's coming off a road trip where he got 2 little singles in that road trip, and he was really scuffling. And they put him down in the 7 hole, not because simply because Dan Wilson had to figure out where to put all these pieces, right? Randy Rosarine takes that leadoff spot because he's got some speed there. He's got some better on base happening, some longer at-bats. So JP goes down to that seventh hole, and he's a team leader, and he's a guy that has a lot of influence over younger players, Cole Young being one of them. You go into that locker room that day one after the trades happen, and you can go in there and you can look at this guy, I'm hitting 7th now all of a sudden. I'm having he's having a really good offensive year overall, really good. And so you come in the locker room on August 1st, he's hitting 7th, and you can just see, I'm watching him because I was paying attention, okay, how's he going to respond to this? Coming off a rough couple weeks, even in the field too, we saw some mishaps in the field. And I'm watching this. I'm like, how's he going to respond hitting in the 7th hole? And he's just gone off. He's absolutely gone off. He's just got that energy about him. So if you're talking 6 through 9 and you're talking about flipping that lineup over, and you're a Cole Young or a Canzone, and you're sitting there in the on deck or coming out in the hole, and you're watching J.P. Crawford have those at bats. Now, I'm not talking about that 17 pitch at bat. I'm talking overall. It changes what you do at the plate. And so I'm going to give it to JP, man. Just getting in there and just embracing the fact he's hitting 7th, being absolute menace in the box. So I'm going to give it to him for sure.
How agitated would you be as a pitcher in an AB like that? 17 pitches, and this guy is just fouling off pitch after pitch. I mean, I can't imagine the level of frustration you're feeling like, all right, I'm going to get him with this one. I'm throwing the hook. I'm throwing this, that, or the other, and he's making contact. Yeah, eventually the pitcher won. He had that little flare. Looked like it was going to drop, but the shortstop made a nice grab on it. But 17 pitch, I mean, just mentally, that's got to be frustrating or exhausting. How would you handle that?
It's brutal because I mentioned the bottom of the lineup. You get to a place where you've gotten through that gauntlet, 1 through 6. And then you get to the bottom of the lineup. You want to be more efficient. And I say this all the time, and Dan Wilson actually mentioned it. Once you get to an at-bat where you've thrown 7 or 8 pitches, they've already won. Like, even if it's an out. He goes 17 pitches. And by the way, he went 0-2 on that at-bat, right?
Yeah.
And he did it with he went breaking ball changeup. When you can get a guy 0-2 with a breaking ball changeup, you have all kinds of options to go to. And that was the frustrating part about it. From a pitcher's point of view, not for us, obviously it was great. But, man, it is exhausting. It gets to a point, any pitcher who doesn't admit this, it gets to a point where you are just literally seconds before you throw the pitch, I'm going to throw something in the zone, just put into play. I don't care. Whatever. Because you're done, man. You're done. It's like, no, just put this ball in play, please. I don't
Just
care if
next
you're a
hitter,
rocket.
Exactly.
And it's happened to me plenty of times. Because one thing I had, which I sucked at times, was putting hitters away. I'd get 2 strikes with these. And that's why I watch some of these young dudes who come up, Emerson Hancock and Logan Evans, when they struggle to put guys away with 2 strikes. What weapon did they have with 2 strikes? I can feel their pain because that was me. And so I have these at-bats of guys just foul and pitch off. And I just throw my hands in there like, dude, just put in play, man. Like, keep looking over your left shoulder, watching that pitch count just get destroyed, and you're just getting gassed and whatever. And then it sucks, man. There's nothing worse. But I'm telling you, any at-bat, any of your listeners are watching, that you can get a 7 or 8 pitch at-bat, they've already won, regardless of the outcome.
I think everybody is equally fascinated by Josh Naylor. Just because, you look at yesterday, he does, I don't know if it was the official splits like cheerleaders do, I was going to call my wife in there and say, is this the splits? But then, you just look at 11 stolen bags. I mean, he hasn't been here that long. And just his seriousness and the way he approaches the game. And I mean, I just think this guy is fascinating to watch. And, maybe if there's one guy that you could look at that, maybe helped turn this around, it seems like it would be him.
Yeah, I think it's interesting, right? You got Gino and Josh Naylor coming in from the trade deadline from the same team. Gino has that. I was watching, again, I got a chance to travel with these guys. You just see him interact like away from the field too. And it's just it's the best, man. When you got guys like that on your team, for me, it was Mike Sweeney, man. Like Mike just joined my show and we had some great chats. It just took me back to having that, presence in the locker room. Well, that's Gino for this team. He feels like he never left. Now, Josh Naylor on the other end of that is more of that, I think someone said the big grumper or something online. I loved it. It was hilarious. But it's one of these ones, man, like where he has that tone about him where, like from it's kind of hard to explain this, but like a tone of saying like, you can't mess with this team you're playing with. I know it sounds ridiculous. I don't know how to really articulate that, but there was teams, I remember like, for example, like the White Sox going back to like, there was like some of those dudes, like you had like that, Mark Burley was on that team. I'd throw Pazinski out there. I'll throw Bobby Jenks was in there. These guys, it's just like, man, this is not a team you'd want to get into like a fist fight with, if that makes sense, right? Because it's just like it would be very difficult. Josh Naylor gives you that kind of presence. I know, look, and Dave, you play football. It's different for the kind of sport you're coming from, but baseball needs some of that. When you have that on your team, he has that kind of presence about him. And I just love it, man. He comes up and it's just comes up to hit or he's on the bases, and he's just going to make a fool out of here. That's kind of what it looks like. He said yesterday, too, that at-bat where he hit the home run, he just flat out said, he goes, I could read the pitch from a mile away. He said he was slowing down on his changeup. I was hunting that fastball. As soon as I saw those mechanics speed up, I'm hunting fastball. I love hearing that. If you're a young player in that environment, man, soak that up if you can. If you're a Cole Young or a Dom Can zone, I know you do your stuff with your hitting coaches and your swing and everything else, but get around that and just don't have to wear him out. He's probably not going to be like, oh, hey, come here, young man, I'll take you under my wing. But it's something that, like, for me, having those guys who have that kind of presence, you can learn so much from. So, he does a lot, man, I think, for this team in that regard. And by the way, when you're talking getting into October and it's full on and it's loud and it's everything else, just like when Luis Castillo walked into the Rogers Center a couple of years ago and just put everyone to sleep, that's kind of what Josh Naylor can do for you too offensively.
What do you think is the key to his base running here? Because you brought up the numbers. He had 11 stolen bases in 93 games with Arizona. Mm-hmm. He's got 11 stolen bases in 15 games with the Mariners. So he's decidedly more aggressive. Do you think that's him, or do you think the team pulled him to the side and said, look, we see what you do. You know what you're doing. You've got the green light. Go when you want to go. I mean, that's a dramatic difference in aggressiveness, obviously.
Yeah, he was doing a little bit of that back in Arizona where he was getting more of the green light. If you're in the lowest 3 percentile in speed in the league, you're not going to get green lights. But if you can early on the year establish that, tell the coaching staff, tell your manager, hey, look, I want to be a little bit more aggressive on the bases when the time's right. And then all of a sudden you get one or two and you show that you can read a pitcher. If he's going to throw over, how quick he is to the plate. If you show you can be comfortable getting that extra 1.5 steps off, just so you can slide in, get the right hand underneath the tag if they pick. It just snowballs from there, I think. And this goes for fast guys as well. You combine that with walking into Seattle where he had kind of established that. I guarantee there would have been conversations as soon as you got here, hey, by the way, I've been a little bit more aggressive on bases, which is such a team attitude, man. I love it. Because he's not going to get paid for stolen bases. Let's get real. He's just not.
Yeah. So
it's not a selfish thing. That's flat out tells me this is I want to play in the playoffs. I want to win. Therefore, I'm going to be more aggressive, put my butt on the line here. I love it. So he would have established that as soon as he got in. By the way, I've been more aggressive. You can see the numbers, and I'm doing this, that, and the other. He probably really got with EY Jr. and said, hey, look, man, I know I'm not quick. What do we got? And it's just that conversation. And he says that element of trust. And Eric Young Jr., the first base coach, even with some of the younger players and the guys with speed, you can take that information. And I've talked to base runners about this. He can say, hey, pick up this or pick up that. Pick up that back hip. When he comes up, you see the shoulders drop, or his head will tilt, or whatever it may be. That's all great. And I used to get that too. I used to get, Lee Tinsley was our first base coach. He's like, hey, man, look, I'm picking up when you're doing this, this, and this. He would give the base runners a bunch of stuff. But it's one thing you have to trust it too, man. When you're getting off that base, you're getting that giant lead, you have to be able to subconsciously trust that whatever he's telling me, I'm good. And I'm happy to get that extra step. I'm happy to get that jump as soon as I see that little move from what I'm reading from the pitcher. Because it's no fun getting picked off. It's humiliating. It's a bad, bad look. So there's, everyone, like, you're in front of 40,000 people getting picked at first. You never want to do that. So it's a bit of a snowball effect. I think he's established that. And I think he's now just got so much confidence to say, it's cut and dry. I can see it. Boom, I'm taking off. Because, again, man, look, it just goes to show if you can somehow figure this out from a base runner's perspective, he's one of the fastest guys in the league. That means that if I'm a Cole Young who got his first base in this homestand, if I'm a Cole Young, I'm going to be like, okay, I should be better off taking bases because it makes such a dramatic difference. I've said that to you guys all year long. Steal bases, man. It puts the pitcher in such a tough spot.
Yeah, I don't remember you saying anything like that. Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, I thought it was 4 Mondays ago. Let's go probably just scrubbed it from existence. I'll pull up the clip.
Ryan, it's like you're talking to a brick wall right now.
It really is.
Yeah,
that's what
right,
the problem is. Hey, the Mariners end up going 10-3 against Texas. Do you believe in matchups? Because, I mean, they have some great offensive pieces with Garcia and Seager, and then their pitching. I think they're still number one in ERA. And, I mean, do you think that is a thing?
Yeah, I think, first of all, I think the Texas Rangers scare me, even though they've dipped all of a sudden since they left our place. What are they, 5 games back now or something? Crazy. Mm-hmm. But on paper, they kind of scare me more than the Houston Astros do. They really do. I think the Houston Astros have a little bit of that mental edge because they've got a batch of players who have been there before and they've been in this situation before where they've got some competition around them. But I feel like, I just feel like, offensively, the Texas Rangers don't do anything in Seattle, period. Like you mentioned Seager. Seager has not done anything at T-Mobile Park, which is strange. So maybe there's a bit of matchup there. Maybe it's a situation, too, where mentally, talk about having that mental edge, where some of the talk about the head-to-head matchup, where the Rangers have faced the Mariners pitching so much, and they struggle against them. And so all of a sudden you have a little bit of an edge that way. But when you look at these, when I'm talking about the Houston Astros and the Texas Rangers side by side, man, I mean, I'm sorry, but the Texas Rangers have way more of a threat come, these next 6 weeks. Yeah. I'll be honest with you, than the Houston Astros. And that's good for the Mariners, because I think the Mariners are better than both of them. But I still think, man, the Texas Rangers, with some of that pitching, because they're all healthy. DeGrom looks like he's not slowing down. Eovaldi, same thing. And Patrick Corbin's having to bounce back. The Houston Astros are trying to piece together I don't even know who started for them the last couple of days. I'm like, who are these guys? Which is not a good thing to have. So I still feel like, when I'm looking at these three teams, Texas, to me, I think on paper look much better than what the Houston Astros do.
Hey, Ryan, I want to get your thoughts on the celebration over the weekend of Ichiro Suzuki. The Mariners, look, I don't know what every other team does to honor their past players, but it's hard to imagine a team doing better than what the Mariners do. They're very consistent. They just crush those things. They really do. And I thought they did it again. And I saw you up there, was chatting with you and your buddy. He's bringing in all kinds of people from Australia. They're infiltrating T-Mobile Park. Met your buddy there. But what a great day that was. I mean, what a tremendous day. And again, Ichiro killed it with his speech and just having that building rocking the way that it was, and all of the greats they had on the video board sending messages to him. Just your thoughts on that as a former teammate and watching how that went down.
Yeah, it's special to me, having a chance to, because I watched greatness when he was at his peak from 2007 to 2010. At the end of that first 10, the craziest first 10 years that you've ever seen, right? 10 Gold Gloves, 10 All-Star games, MVP in his rookie year, insane first 10 years of his career, obviously, and you had the rest of it as well. But it was special. The one thing that really stood out to me, which gave me goosebumps and made me very emotional, was just the what do you call it? I mean, I wouldn't call it a shout out, but just the acknowledgement of Randy Johnson too, right? Like, here's a guy who, and he's been vocal about it, where he was a little bit more reluctant come back into the fold with the Seattle Mariners. You see Jay Buhner's back a ton. I love seeing Jay all over the place. Ken Griffey, again, having Ken. I got a chance when Ken had played his last game as a teammate of mine, and then seeing him, I'm like, where's Griffey at? When I first came back, when I was going on the broadcasting side, and then boom, lo and behold, here he is. To have these type of players, man, they're iconic players in Seattle. Jay Buhner, Ichiro Suzuki, obviously, Edgar's around the team. Dan Wilson's managing the team now, so awesome. Randy Johnson, man, like when I think of Randy Johnson, I don't think about the D-backs. I think about the Seattle Mariners. That's how I remember him as a kid. And to see the involvement with him, that first pitch, Randy comes out and sort of handing off the iconic number 51 to him for 2026. Whether that was a Mariners thing, whether that was Ichiro, whether that was Randy, coming back and
coming out in catcher's gear.
Yeah, that was awesome.
The catcher's gear. I mean, it was just that. But to me, that was the most epic part, man. I think Ichiro just, so eloquently just talked about number 51. It was really hard for him to have number 51 coming over. That was the number that was given to him. He was a under-the-radar type player when he first got into professional baseball in Japan. They gave him number 51 because numbers mean a lot in Japan. They mean huge. Like number 18, for example, that's the ace of your staff, right? That's kind of, there's all these numbers. Number 2, your catcher wears number 2. And that's a huge honor. Well, he got 51. And then so he comes to Seattle, and that's a big part of his identity. And he was freaking out. He was like, how do I get this number 51? This legend already has it here in Seattle. And then the way Randy was willing to give it up. I just love all that time, man. It's so cool. So I think that was really special. Think about this. The team sees him every day playing catch in uniform, hitting balls or whatever he's doing. And then they come out in the top. They know he's a legend, but they come out and just see how loud that was and the 45,000 plus, what he meant to this city, this fan base. They're like, whoa, hold on a minute. Yeah, that's the dude we watch play catch for no reason in right field every day. And look at what he meant to these fans, man, and to everyone else. So it was super cool. I could talk about it all day. But it's very, very cool.
Well done by you. Have fun out there, man. Enjoy the pool. Enjoy your day off. Get rested because we're going to need your A game for this road trip here, man. This is big stuff. We're marching toward a playoff berth here, and there's a lot of belief in this team. So buckle up, man.
Sounds good. Talk to you guys soon.
Thanks, Ryan.
Appreciate you. There he is, Ryan Rowland.